What? How'd it go again? Hey, come on.
Tell me again, my baby girl. Can we be turtles and friends? It's a good little baby. It's a good little baby.
So, welcome to This Won't Last podcast. If you couldn't tell by the intro song, today we'll be talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, how to reboot them, whether it's the movie or possibly maybe TV shows, whatever, and also the Friends reunion, among maybe some other things. I think Paul's got some stuff lined up on the docs. Paul's good at that. Paul's very good at docking, for those of you who are interested. So, Pete Breeze is here today.
Hey guys, what's going on?
D-Easy is here via remote through Facebook Messenger.
Hashtag not
Yo,
sponsored.
this is what we do, baby. We in the future, homie.
Someday soon we're going to actually figure out how to do that well, but right now we just got a microphone in front of a laptop. So
I'm sure that'll be very, very obvious when listening to
This
it.
part's gonna come out when we go on vacation.
Yeah. And I, of course, am probably going to be online. So, fellas, how do we want to start this off? You want to start out with some Friends or some Turtles?
Let's get Friends out of the way.
got it.
There's not much news to
Who
that.
got it?
Friends. So, Paul, why don't you lead us off with what inspired the discussion about Friends?
The only thing that inspired it was that D is a huge Friends fan. The rest of us can kind of take it or leave it.
It was big at the time.
Yeah, so are slap bracelets.
And I still have
And
two
only
of those.
slap braces lasted. Hashtag don't at me. Yeah, so in May, HBO Max is launching is launching as a streaming service. So HBO Max, which is by many channels part of the Warner Company. So so they're gonna have another. That company has several streaming services out, so I'm confused as to why they're just putting them together. But HBO Max is launching, and they're going to have the exclusive streaming rights to Friends, all 236 episodes, however many there are. To go along with that, they've managed to get the 6 cast members together for a reunion special. Unscripted, with a lot of the same producers from the series. And there's no information about what it is. They only just recently confirmed that it's going to be happening. So probably more of like a Talking Dead style, just having people, they'll be on the stage and then they'll talk about, what's going to happen. Like they're actually going to do it on the same stage where they filmed it on the Warner Brothers lot. So I mean, they'll probably be in, what was it? What was that place called? D? The cafe?
The Peak, something Peak.
Perk. Central Perk. That's it. Central Perk. Thanks, D.
Central Perk.
Thanks, D. Appreciate your friend's knowledge. So they're gonna be probably in the Central Perk set and just kind of going over whatever, just a basic reunion episode. I mean not like the Real Housewives, but more just a general actual like they're glad to see each other. Plus they're all mad rich. Like that streaming deal got them like $10 or $20 million a piece. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm sure they were really happy to be there because they're like, yeah, I'm making $10 million, $20 million for this. Sure, man, no problem.
So I think the one question that everybody wants to know right now.
I don't know if Gunther's going to be there.
Oh, damn you.
Sorry.
Fucking stole my bit, you bitch. I'm sure.
See, that's why you should have changed it and said it's Smelly Cat's family going to be there in his honor.
Nice. Yeah. What were they feeding him?
Or is Giovanni Ribisi going to be there
Oh.
for his part? Or
Too busy.
Paul Rudd was in the final season. They could have him on there because he's done a bunch of like awkward interviews about him being there for the last episode, and he's like, "We had a great run, guys." He's only there for like 4 episodes. So, D, what are you most looking forward to, or do you just not care at all?
If it's gonna be about them, can you hear me?
Yeah.
If it's gonna be about them just talking and talking about their favorite episodes, I feel like I've seen that in one of the DVDs or something. So I'm really not going to be excited about that. If they're like doing like an episode, like a legit episode, gonna be right when you call me 8-year-old girl.
I mean,
I'm gonna be excited.
we already are right.
Oh, Cletus hurt.
Hey man,
Hurt,
get
Cletus
more than 2
hurt.
plates at the buffet and we'll talk.
But no, I think it'll be cool. I know David Schwimmer recently came out and said that he wanted to see Friends rebooted with a more diverse ensemble.
Yep.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yep, and then he immediately got burned by Black Twitter.
That's fact because and Living Single.
Yeah, Living Single was right before that. That was the original Friends. Friends was the white reboot.
But I'm gonna say this though about to the black community, we gonna never get none of y'all tripping over everything. I was offended. Like I was offended. Like yo, y'all need to slow down. But I ain't say that because I ain't trying to get kicked out of the black community yet. my credit ain't all the way up there yet.
I mean, you're pretty there. I mean, I think yours is still ahead of mine.
But yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, I would be excited if it's an episode. And if it's not an episode, I don't care. I am excited about a reboot, but I'm not excited that they're just gonna be talking about Friends. I kind of like seeing that on DVDs.
We'll see. It's just something. Again, it's another little thing to try to draw people in. I mean, they have something for everybody. I mean, again, with it being HBO, they have all the original series, both old and new. So they'll have everything back from The Wire all the way through Watchmen. They have exclusive deals with Friends. They're gonna have, I believe, I want to say, I think it was them. They have the deal with South Park. I think starting next summer, they're gonna have like 20 seasons of South Park exclusive. I think it was.
Are they still doing live seasons for South Park?
Oh yeah, it's still going.
Okay, that's cool.
And then they're also going to have like the exclusive streaming rights in the U.S. for Studio Ghibli films. Like a bunch of like they like quietly got a bunch of stuff.
Pretty sure it's pronounced Shibley.
I never know how it's pronounced. I've heard it pronounced 4 different ways.
Shibley. Chevrolet.
I've heard it pronounced all 4 ways, so I'll take your word for it. However you want to pronounce it.
My new favorite pastime is railroading Paul.
That's not new. It's not new.
Not new.
But yeah, that's all. We've already talked about Friends way more than I wanted to. So, what's next, D?
Let's talk about. So
Baby,
Let's talk about teenagers.
No, it was something I wanted to ask you guys about something before we went to the teenagers. But I'm not in the studio and I don't have all my stuff in front of me like I usually do. I gotta write stuff down more in my phone.
You could do that if you had a Samsung Galaxy
Oh,
Note.
okay, I got it. So I seen I just seen earlier today the commercial for the Walking Dead Return. Do we at all want to care about that at all again?
I've been over it for quite a while, and I was probably the one who was biggest into it. All that being said, I just feel like the reason I didn't care for it much anymore is because they shied away from too much. And the thing that eventually drove me to not want to watch it anymore is the cliffhanger with Negan and who did he kill and everything. It was like nothing really made any difference whether they showed them or didn't show them. And the cliffhanger bit was just cheap. And I feel like that was, it kind of sums up what was wrong with the show. Like, they're just doing things to make, to get a cheap bump out of people.
Well, I stayed on a little bit longer. The last episode that I watched was the episode after died, after the little boy, Core. Well, he was almost grown. So after Core died, I was done.
Yeah, especially because, spoiler alert, in the comics, he lives. Like, the comic has ended, and it's basically just, he goes on. Like, he establishes a new life.
Spoilers. Is Rick dead?
In the comics?
In the show?
Technically, yes, I think. But it was all like a future thing. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
I didn't watch it. The only thing I saw was that he was taken away in a helicopter. So I don't really understand it. I don't care.
Rick's dead in the comics. Spoilers.
So I thought you kept up for it a little while. I thought you was into it too.
Well, I enjoyed it just like everybody else did, but I mean, it just became the same crap every episode, and I just got bored of it. Like once they got to Alexandria, they just started rinsing and repeating the same problems over and over again.
Yeah, pretty much.
I kind of want to get back into it, but I'm so like it's been like three or four seasons since I watched it, and I just don't want to go back, and I don't know if I know what's going on.
Here, let me sum it up for you. Coral, where's Coral? He's over there, Rick. Oh, thank God. The end. Zombies.
So who's raising the little baby girl, Michonne?
Probably.
Okay.
Judith.
For now.
Judith.
So I think she's leaving the show too.
She dead?
I said she's be leaving the show. I don't know. They haven't done that yet.
Deny.
Oh my goodness. They gotta make her. But she can't do both.
But doesn't want to. I mean, she's probably just bored of wearing the damn wig.
For real. So crazy.
Hey, do you want to hang out in the backwoods of Georgia and wear a 10-pound wig every day? Nope.
I'm sure she getting that paper though.
Undoubtedly, but
Making more from Marvel.
Facts. That's a big fact.
for probably doing less. For appearing in 3 movies.
I mean, AMC is better when Walking Dead is good, but I don't care. I don't care anymore. I wish it the best.
That was just a question because I seen that in my timeline today, and I was like, yo, let me see what they feel about that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Plus, they give our show more diversity of topics. Well, did they?
I guess.
I see what you're trying to do.
Friends, zombies, and mutants. Big diversity.
Yes, sir.
All right, what's next?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtles in the half shell. Turtle power. Shine, 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 shine.
We
usually only do the chorus.
So if y'all can't tell, D is very excited about the Ninja Turtles. What exactly brought this about, by the way, D?
Well, so I've been thinking for a long while. I bought all 2 of the Ninja Turtles last movies, and we only trying to fix the movie universe. I think the TV or the TV universe, Nickelodeon is doing a good job, but the movie universe, which Nickelodeon is doing a horrible job, how can we fix that? And that just comes from my love of Ninja Turtles and my love to fix stuff.
Well, and we just recorded one yesterday about fixing the DCU.
Yesterday, me and Ryan fixed the DCU.
Yep. Me and D put our minds together and did our best to figure out how to fix DCU. Probably should have included Paul in that. But
That's all right. I wasn't there, but my fix is pretty simple. Just do good.
Be better.
Just be best. Be best. I mean, most of the missteps in that universe are pretty obvious.
Yeah.
They just didn't know. It basically it more comes down to just like any kind of business. It was just bad management. They had the wrong people in charge of the wrong stuff. So, again, I mean, I've said it. I don't know how many times. I mean, the DC characters were the most cinematic ready. they're all the entire Justice League and well, most of the Justice League and especially their big characters are ready for movies right out the bat. Like you had to tweak a lot of the Marvel characters to get them to make them more believable, make them more acceptable. But you don't do that for most of the DC characters. They're ready to go. They've been around for 80 plus years, and they people know what to expect. But you just had people in charge of that either hated the comics or hated the soul of the character, or just didn't know what to do with them. Or you had the studio execs getting involved that were trying to hit certain beat points, and that's they're just trying to make a 2018 Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
So,
just to give you a little bit of my fix was basically to have the characters actually be good and like to be like super characters, like Batman, like he fights 7 of his people at one time, and while he's waiting for a threat that's coming, and pretty much to channel my inner Foggy, and then Ryan was my Foggy number 2. Oh yeah, he was my Fog.
Fog without an E. You just call me
He
Fog.
was the Fog. He was the Fog without an E.
My suggestion is more or less too that they're actually heading in the right direction with Shazam and with Wonder Woman building up their characters instead of just focusing on team ups and stuff like that. But we're not here to talk about the DCEU, are we?
Oh no, and I just wanted to let Paul know what was good.
Well, Paul can find out more in depth if he wishes when we post that episode on This Won't Last podcast. So those of us who are already listening, be sure to check out our Podbean regularly, as well as our social accounts, our Instagram, our Twitter, and our Facebook. We always post them whenever we upload videos, our audio to there. We do videos on YouTube as well. That's mostly just clips and the audio from the show with a simple background that automatically goes up when you do Podbean. So if you already like our podcast and you want to start doing your own, check out Podbean because that's a really good way to do it. It's worked out for us so far. Wait,
okay.
That's how we do it. That's how America does it. And it's worked out pretty well so far. Nailed it!
I'm like, you guys are trying to keep back a pit bull from its dead meat in front of me. I'm a pit bull ready to talk about my dead meat.
Wait, what? So D, what's your take on the Turtles? Do they need some fixing?
Okay, so here's the deal. Easy fix, in theory. Stop focusing on selling money, start making money with the Turtles. That's gonna happen. You don't need to focus on making money with the Turtles. They're gonna make money. They've been making money for years. They're not gonna stop. Now you focus on what really needs to be focused on, the true fans of the Turtles. And those are us grown folks who started with the Turtles back then. And my ultimate fix is to take the teenager off.
Interesting.
My new 3 movies will be more of the Turtles. The first movie, we ain't doing no backstory. You already know their backstory. Now they've been in New York for a while. They've been like doing this whole Turtle hero thing for a while. But just like every other brother, you have that people want to go on their own and do their own thing, and people don't want to be led no more, and people stop letting focus on being leaders and stuff like that. So you have all that around. So you'll get the Turtles really at a place where they can't stand each other no more. And it's coming out when they're superhero thing. So when they out fighting, that's coming out, and they actually losing fights and letting people get away because they just can't get around each other. Splinter is at this point saying, okay, you guys are grown. I can't do this no more. I'm going to go doing my own thing and trying to get into, whatever Splinter does. So, the last movie had left off with Shredder going into space. My movie, I'm bringing Shredder back, and it's going to be the Shredder from the first movie, not the second movie. That second movie, Shredder was a joke. The first Shredder was really, really scary, in this one right here, Shredder's come back. Shredder got all kinds of knowledge. He got an amazing suit. The suit is like just jacked up and everything. And now he getting his foot together with technologies from other worlds and everything. And now the turtles, they are spread apart. When they have that first fight from that first movie, they are end up going on their own. So, in a sense, the first movie ends with the turtles losing to Shredder as he come back. Now, second movie starts up. Shredder, they have taken over New York, and the turtles are doing it individually, but they really ain't making no head game because like they still young. They're in their 20s, but they still like thick-headed, you know. So they think each way is their own way that is better. Dungeon's out, teched out. He's trying to do everything. He's trying to fight tech with tech. Mikey, he's trying to do the stealth thing, trying to do it on the low, you know, fast, quick, and early. Leo, he got him some people that he found and everything to fight with. He built a little army, but it's really not that strong. And Raphael out there just getting angry. He just blaming the world. He just taking out anybody he see that's a bad guy. Splinter dies in the second movie. And when he died, that's the point where they say, okay, it's time to come back together. From that point on, you see the turtles at the ultimate best. They together, they put their foolishness aside, they lost everything they ever had. And their father, they just coming strong and they come together and they take over the town, but they don't defeat Shredder. Shredder get away. The third movie, Shredder, he builds an army he used the ooze to build an army of like an army of whatever, animal people, whatever, and everything. And that's when like he really like unleashed on turtle on New York and destroy a lot of New York. And the turtles in the fourth movie finds out that there was another turtle, which is the girl turtle. Yeah.
Venus de Milo.
Hello.
Huh? Is it Venus de Milo?
Yeah. And she's actually like, for real, she's like the best turtle out of all the turtles. And like with her and everything, they do the Ninja Turtle thing up, and they turtle the city up and they save the city. Bam. Those three movies would be the best of the turtles that could ever be put out. I know y'all feeling that.
So I want to clarify something because I wasn't sure. It kind of sounded like you're saying, are they? Is it related to? Is it related to the Bay movies?
I'm gonna. Like I said last night on the Batman thing. I don't want to start the universe over. So I just kind of like put it. I guess so.
I mean, or you could go the other direction, have it be related to the original ones.
The first four.
Yeah, you're the EP.
Well, the first four. I mean,
You're
did
the
you see
exclusive
part
producer.
4? Did you see part 4? Part 4 was kind of wild. Like, yeah, I don't know.
What was part 4?
That's when they went back in time.
Oh, that was part 3.
That was 3.
Oh, so there was no part 4.
The only technical part 3 would be TMNT, but I don't think that was that. I don't think it was actually connected.
Okay, yeah, that was the outlier, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just the first 3, and that third one was a literal cash grab, and everybody attached to it hated it.
Yeah, so yeah, that third one kind of like killed that universe for me. And then like just because I liked it, the first Bay Turtles wasn't that bad. It was really good. The second Bay Turtles, it was like they messed up for me with Shredder.
Well, I mean, what the mess up for me was turning Raphael into a tank, but then they ended up doing that for the new cartoon anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
They made him into Knuckles.
But anyway, so yeah, that's how I think I would think the universe by first of all, you know, teenage back. And you know, they're in their 20s, they want to be their individual. So the first movie will be them expressing their individual and them seeing that them not seeing, but the fact that they was divided made them lose to a Shredder, because Shredder went up in space. So he comes back with a lot of different technologies and stuff like that, and he used it. So that's how I would do it for the first movie, the first three movies, and then the second three movies will be, the second one will be them going in space, and then remember that it was actually from the 2016 one, and it was actually from the 2012 one where they had that ninja rabbit.
Usagi Yojimbo?
Yeah, wasn't that like another dimension or something like that?
He was a samurai, by the way.
Yeah, but wasn't that from another? Wasn't he in another dimension or something like that?
He's from another planet.
Anyway, so I have him going into that. So the fourth one will be space. The fifth one will be going to another dimension, and then the sixth one I just mentioned the prequel. That will be a good cash grab. I gave you 5 good movies.
Interesting.
But yeah, I'm in the third one, we're going to show that girl power.
With Venus de Milo. What's the new girl? Oh.
So that's just
I'm trying to remember.
how
Actually, I
I
honestly
was
can't remember.
thinking Turtles.
Very good. Sounds intriguing, as I said.
Yes, sir.
But I'm going to assume here that Paul has a very different take.
Oh, I'm going next.
I'm stalling.
I mean, you guys knew about this before I did.
Well, last night D said, let's fix it in Turtles.
I found out 20 minutes ago. Well, if I'm being perfectly honest, the best way to fix it would be to just do it through TV, because this idea just works better being fixed through serial.
Jenico was the girl's name.
Yeah, Jenica. If I'm being forced to make a movie out of it, so already not a good starting point.
Well, no, you can do movie or TV show, whichever one for you.
Well, you said movie, like you emphasized movie several times.
No, I'm saying that's how I would.
To be honest, Ninja Turtles just works better animated. It just does.
Yeah.
Because whenever you do live action, while it can look cool, again, like the first ones were interesting, but it's just dudes in rubber suits. And the second one were just dumb things as CGI. The series, because there's only, from my viewpoint, there's only two ways to really do it. You either do it just totally bombastically, it's just ridiculous. You got friggin' like little, you got your claptraps running, not claptraps, what are those, the mouse traps running around. You got your Bebops and Rocksteady. You got mousers. You're fighting. You're fighting angry brains from another dimension. Like it's just a ridiculous universe. The Triceratons and all that crap. You go big, or you just go super dark, and it's just basically Watchmen with turtles. Like, it's only two ways I can say to go about it. The dark version will never work. Maybe on HBO Max. If you want to steal my idea, we can talk. We can negotiate a fee. But if you're into the movie,
Your idea.
if you're into the movie, you just gotta go, just big and crazy. Keep them again, just like it was in the comics. They're basically all the same size. Honestly, I'm fine with even sticking to just they all have the same bandanas. Keep it simple as far as their design goes, because I think in the last two movies and now the new TV, now the new series, they're taking too many liberties with the designs. Like, Raph is way too goddamn big. Donnie is too skinny. Like, they don't. I get they're doing it based on their personality, which is already full of stereotypes, but it's unnecessary. So, what I would probably do to piggyback off of what Ryan said a little minute ago, I would probably legitimately just continue it from the original series. Because again, they're turtles, and I mean, whatever you see, whatever you still want to say, lie again. Nobody's gonna fact check. You just say that just like tortoises can live for up to 100-something years. Fuck it, they can live for like 120 years or whatever it is. Still running around doing shit. So they can be 30, 40 years old and still be teenagers, mentally.
Listen, if Baby Yoda can be 50 years old, then the Ninja Turtles can be.
There we go. And then I would just treat it like a friggin' Sonny Chiba movie. Just keep it slow, just grindy, and just focus more on the fights than about the crazy. Do just some hardcore, almost like just dirty like John Wick style fighting for a while. And then just like the John Wick movies, just go crazy. Just start bringing in all the crazy mutants, all the crazy. I forget what they're called. There's like this like animal species that's in there too, and then start bringing in the brains, bringing in the triceratons, bringing on all the different stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah, very unique take, Paul.
No. Were you starting this universe over, Paul, or you were just
No. He said he was going to put it from a continuation of the original.
Okay. The first three.
The first three.
First two.
Just pretend number 3 didn't happen.
3 didn't happen. Move on.
So I guess that brings us to me.
Anybody else?
Everyone else is super quiet.
All right.
We're all shy.
Come on, Kevin. You want to come in here? No. All right, man. Just keep playing with your hair. It's all right.
I'm having a joint class in the corner. Per se. So, my take, I'm going to go full-on original series, Frank Miller-inspired hardcore ninja warriors who basically are out for one reason and one reason only, and that's to kill the Shredder, to avenge their master. And I would like to have it done in the style of Sin City. I basically just have it shot black and white to honor again the original comics, and like go with full on gore. You having fun over there, D?
I am.
All right.
Are you eating your phone?
Why? Say
Because
it again?
we're picking up all that noise you're making.
Oh, my bad. No, I think the way I got these earbuds, you hear that?
No.
Okay, that.
All right. Anyways, so you go full on Sin City mode, just gory, crazy, dark and gritty, and you put it on HBO Max or any one of these streaming services that are coming up here. I only say HBO Max because HBO has the history of doing all this dark and gritty, crazy stuff. But I suppose it could work on but not so much in Netflix, because Netflix doesn't really do that kind of content, like dirty, bloody, kind of crazy stuff.
I mean,
Maybe
yes and no. I mean, there were shows. I mean, Altered Carbon and a couple other ones, and I can't think of it at the moment. But I mean, hell, I mean, even The Witcher.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they'll do. I mean, at this point again, it's we're in legitimately the middle of the streaming wars. Like they'll do a lot of stuff. Like they're not like Hulu will be very limited in what they do. Obviously, Disney Plus and CBS and NBC.
Whatever it is, I'll toss a coin to it. But obviously, I think that this would end up being a one-shot. So it's not so much as rebooting the original series or rebooting the series as much as it is I just want to see something crazy like that. So it's my own personal preference, more or less.
I mean, that's how you gonna fix it. That's how you fix it.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want any sequels for that. I just want to see that early origin, just to have it A, to see something different, and B, because it was kind of a cool story. And you could go a lot more, realistic. It was as realistic as you get with, Mutant Ninja Turtles, and keep them a little bit more toned down, a little bit more proportional. Don't make them freaking 8 feet tall. Don't make them.
Mine would probably be a lot more skinnier than what they are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think somewhere in between where they were in the original movies and where they were in the Bay movies. I feel like they were a little too small in the original movies, which again they were in the comics. In the comics, they're only 5'5", 5'4", something like that. They were so much smaller.
Teenagers.
And then, but in the movies again, yeah, they're all like 6 foot and bigger.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
Too big.
Well, Leo will be 5'9". Donatello will be like 6'1". Raphael will be 6 foot, and Mikey will be like 5'11".
Why is Leo the shortest?
Just seems like that's right.
I mean, he's the oldest and he's the leader. Why would he be the shortest?
Why wouldn't he be the shortest?
My question makes more sense.
I don't have an answer for your question, so I just answer your question with a question.
You son of a bitch. I'm in.
That's why I give it to you. I just know. It's what I thought in my head. Like, oh, this sounds good.
You're going to get this D whether you like it or not.
I have no answer for that.
Well, like I said, I mean, honestly, but I mean, if we're being honest, the best reboot of Ninja Turtles so far has been the IDW comics.
What was that story?
I mean, somebody got them for you for Christmas. What?
You did it. You did it.
Yep.
You only gave me the thing.
What?
You only gave me the sleeping thing.
Nope.
Was it in the shirt?
Nope. I gave you 2 volumes of the comic. Anyways, we're not here to air dirty laundry out. There he goes. Welcome back.
I left him.
Anyways, what?
I got him at the house.
Yeah,
Okay,
they ain't here.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back to the conversation, D.
I'm trying to figure out where the thing's at.
Anyways, yeah, no, those comics have been ridiculous. Like they're great, great art, good stories. Again, that's where they brought in a proper female turtle, not just another damsel in distress. And they still keep a lot of the dark stuff while still, paying tribute to all like the wacky stuff from the '90s cartoon and the movies and stuff like that. So they'll still bring in like Bebop and Rocksteady and all the kind of like the goofier ones, but still keeping it very like grimy. Like they're still in the sewers a lot, still dark. People still die, and there's still consequences. I mean, really, the comics, the modern comics would not be a bad template to work off of.
Yeah. If you want a new franchise, you want something with some longevity, something that could be if not an Avengers or a Marvel type deal, then maybe what they were trying to do with Power Rangers. Like, I think that would be a better way to go about it.
Possibly. With Turtles is always hard to tell because their best successes have come from just focusing on the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now. You look at the surprise hit so far this year with Sonic. That thing is fairly empty. It's just a movie for kids.
Yeah, it was a buddy cop movie with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, just a simple, like straightforward movie. They're not trying to be too deep or anything, and you could do that with the Turtles also. Eat feet.
Eat feet. Eat feet. Eat feet. Eat feet.
My thing with all the turtle movies is you got ninja in the name. Like, I just want to see that.
Like what aspect of it?
Like the fighting.
And that's why it works better as a cartoon. Because it's really hard to, because it's still very hard to do good CG fighting.
Yeah.
Like, especially when your character is entirely CG. And you can't properly do rubber suits like that.
Well,
so you saying there's a chance?
Beating a dead horse here. Marvel did pretty good in Civil War with Captain America and Iron Man fighting.
Right. But again, that's the biggest studio spending all the money.
Yeah.
They're not doing that for Ninja Turtles.
They would have been a big enough franchise.
But it's not a big enough franchise. Ninja Turtles, peaked in '89.
Yeah.
They peaked with those toys. The beginning of the cartoon, that was their peak. They did gangbusters for a few years, and they've been kind of coasting on nostalgia since then. Yeah, not that it couldn't be good, but I mean, just it's a weird idea that I'm surprised the state has hung around this long. Let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly isn't something that, like, at the time, had you put that out there on the table during a meeting, people would immediately be like, "Yep, you got the next big thing here."
Yeah.
And while I was doing it, I was reading about what Eastman and Laird had to go through. They basically had to go out and get a loan in order to make this thing. Like,
oh yeah, no, and the whole thing started off as a joke. I mean, they had a couple comics and they all failed.
Deal like this. Using money from a tax refund together with a loan from Eastman's uncle, they formed Mirage Studios and self-published a single-issue comic book that would pass each 4 popular comics of the early 1980s. New Mutants.
Man, that's what I was trying to do.
Yeah. So I say you like it. It's interesting.
I could have took my tax money and then we could have got some money from Uncle Paul. No, but Greg, what you done reading now? Did I interrupt you?
Yeah, there wasn't much else. Just talking about the comics that influenced them was New Mutants, Cerberus, which featured anthropomorphic animals, Ronin, and Daredevil, which I think we all see the obvious influences there. The foot instead of the hand, Splinter instead of Stick.
Oh yeah, no, he borrowed quote unquote a lot from Daredevil and specifically Frank Miller.
Yeah. Which is why I want to see a Sin City version of it, a Frank Miller-esque version of it.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, and they did a really good job of going over this in the Toys That Made Us episode. And like I said, and I mean, again, there was no like foresight for all this. I mean, in the first issue, they killed Shredder.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So they're like after it sold like really really well, and they had to make more comics. They just had to start like figuring shit out for their like it was. They started off as them like because they did a couple comics and they just tanked. So they were just up one night bullshit, and they were just doing drawings just to make each other laugh, and they just made this like silly ass turtle looking thing, and they started just calling it a weird name, and they ended up coming up with the name, and they just
like just enjoying the moment,
and they just redesigned it a couple dozen times, and finally got to where it got. But I mean, it's a miracle it even happened to begin with. And even then, like they went around to like every toy company, nobody wanted to do anything, and then they finally got just some random agent to come to work with them and got him in the door with somebody. And that's the only reason, because toys are the only reason that this whole thing exists.
Well, I think that when they're at some point during the run, basically they kind of split off as to what they wanted to do with the comic.
It wasn't the comic specifically. It was more about. It was more during, I think, going towards the live action show. Like when they wanted to bring in. I think it was if I remember correctly, I think it was the decision where they were. I think Eastman wanted to introduce. No, I'm sorry. Laird wanted to bring in a fifth turtle.
Yeah. And
the other one was against it. No, I'm sorry. Eastman wanted it. Laird did not. And he dug his he dug his heels in and basically just sold off his rights. Which good it's a dignity moment for him. He just like this is what I believe in.
Yeah.
And then ended up being sold to Nickelodeon for several dozens and hundreds of millions of dollars. He didn't make any money off that.
Yeah, boy, it's an American story right there. I love it.
Yep, and then
cutting his nose to spite his face.
And then Eastman, I think Eastman came back and he's still working with them on the current comic. But yeah, no, it's they've only recently even like started talking to each other again.
After he got that money, that's when he started talking.
Oh, he didn't get any money.
Not that the other dude got the money.
I mean, they got the money back in the '90s. They sold the rights for Ninja Turtles to Nickelodeon back in the early 2000s, I think.
Wow. That's when they did the 2012 series.
Yeah, I think so.
And 2012 probably was the best series out of all of them, even the original.
Like the original cartoons.
Yeah.
I mean, again, the original cartoon, more so than anything else, was in that vein of 80s cartoons where it was made just to sell toys.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was no depth to it. I mean, the fact there was even, like, I forgot the name of the brains. Like, that thing happening, like that happening behind the scenes was uncommon in cartoons in those days.
The Crags. Fun side note, a bit of internet knowledge now, but Uncle Phil was the voice of the Shredder.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they paid homage to him when he died.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
That's all they should.
Man, it's cool to go back and see who did what.
Yeah. Have you ever looked into the voice talents of Captain Planet?
I know Auntie Whoopi was on there.
There's a bunch of people who are on there. Martin Sheen. What's the girl? Meg Ryan was Dr. Blake.
I believe so.
Oh, wow.
Who else? Tim Curry.
Sorry, for a younger audience, if anybody's listening to this, Meg Ryan was an actress in the 90s.
Yes. She certainly was. I'm sorry, Paul, you misspoke. She was the actress in the 90s.
I guess. It wasn't a very good time for actresses.
Yeah. No, it certainly wasn't at that time. It was pretty much everyone was relegated to playing a character in a rom-com. LeVar Burton was Kwame.
Yeah, that sounds like it.
Whoopi Goldberg was Gaia.
Auntie Whoopi, baby.
Ed Asner was Hoggish Greeley. Tim Curry was Mal. Mary Kay Bergman, I don't know why I thought it was her girl. John Ratzenberger was on there. Margot Kidder. She played Gaia after Whoopi.
Should we do
Oh,
a
Meg
hot
Ryan,
pick
Meg
to
Ryan, Dr. Blake.
not Power Rangers, but the Captain Planet?
Anyways.
What do you mean?
And my personal favorite, Jeff Goldblum as Verminous Scum.
AD, what do you mean?
Well, not so much how to fix it, because I'm thinking it's just like how do we bring it to life? Should we do how to bring it to life?
How to bring what to life?
The Captain on the Planeteers.
The Planeteers.
Nah.
Captain Planet and the Planeteers.
Nah.
I think Rhodey
I
did
would
a
like
good
to
job.
look at that type of movie with Zion. That would be cool.
It would be too heavy-handed.
No, bro, we can use what's the global warming?
Right, no, I understand that, but it would be too heavy-handed. Because the problem is, no matter who's looking at it, they wouldn't approach it from just like, hey, it's a show from the 90s, it's going to be political.
No, we doing it. Ain't nobody us.
That means nothing. No matter who's doing it, people are going to call it as being political. Because people just can't, because people don't believe in science anymore. Or even just like nostalgia, like in that sense, like they'll accept nostalgia, but if it's any kind of like science or like opinions behind it, no. I mean, shit, we have a president talking shit about a 14-year-old.
That's fact.
So I mean, you think we can just bring back Planeteers and nobody's gonna say anything?
That's fact.
Shit, at this point, they'd probably say something about Ninja Turtles, about toxic waste dumping or something.
Why the turtles got to be ninjas?
My ninja.
It's cultural appropriation.
I mean, they're probably from Brooklyn, so it's okay.
I never say no green ninjas.
We live in a sad world when it comes down to media. Everybody like, I ain't gonna say that.
I don't think the world has changed all that much. It's just the platform for getting out there has changed. Like any group of three jerks can get a couple of microphones together and make a podcast and put it on the internet.
And reach dozens of people.
Dozens of people.
Bro,
hey, we're internationally known. We got a hit in Australia. Pretty sure somewhere in Europe. Haven't checked the stats lately.
Sorry, you were saying, dude?
I hear so much stupid stuff and negativity. I don't go to Facebook. I don't get mad. I just let it go. Like, the issue ain't people being stupid. People always being stupid. It's just the issue. Everybody caring about what everybody else is doing.
Even that, I think, hasn't changed. It's just that it's on a bigger level.
Yeah, the bigger problem is the biggest problem is one of the best parts of the internet is that everybody, no matter how unique, niche, or crazy you are, can find people that feel the same way as you.
Yeah.
So before that, one person wouldn't feel comfortable enough to let their thoughts fly around or share them like that. But now they can find a whole group of people and they can all have the same thoughts and get validation from each other. They can go out there and say that, and say all sorts of crazy stuff. I mean, again, it's the simple fact that there is a flat earther movement is evidence enough.
They've got members around the globe.
Yeah.
The only thing they fear is fear itself.
But my point is, why should I care about a flat earther movement? If they want to have that movement, they have the right. This is Muhammad Ali. If you want to change the name to Muhammad Ali, if they want to believe that Earth is flat, do whatever you want. You can believe the Earth is flat. I don't care. Like, I'm gonna go home and go to sleep.
In and of itself, it's fine. The problem is that it's indicative of a bad trend.
It shows that anybody can have their own personal echo chamber.
Yeah.
Where any thought that they have can be, supported by people who maybe aren't of a right mind, and they do not allow in criticism.
Well, I don't care if they're in the right mind. That's what they want to believe.
But here's why you should care, because those same people, it's that same mentality, is why we have so many people that don't believe in climate change. It's why we can't get in
office. I'm good.
What?
As long as they don't get into office, I'm good.
But they are.
They
are in
office. What you mean? We got people.
Yes.
Is Donald Trump a flat earther?
He's a climate change denier.
Yeah, which again, the flat Earth conversation is just the funny conversation instead of talking about climate change. Like those, not same people, but that same mentality are the ones that don't believe in climate change. So they're the ones that are denying. Oh well, I walked outside. It's not hot out, so here's that fucking senator having the senator famous for bringing in a freaking snowball into the Senate and saying, well, we can't have global warming. Here's a snowball. Like, are you fucking retarded? Like we have 1/3 of the glaciers we had 20 years ago. But yeah, you're right. Everything's still the same. It's still the same. Keep going, man.
Bro, I listen to people all week be mad at D-Wade for what he let his kid do. I'm like, y'all do. I almost said the N-word, but I'm N-word free since 2020, January the 13th.
2020.
2020. Minutes ago.
But I'm like, half of y'all that's mad at D-Wade for letting his son do whatever he want to do. Y'all don't even pay y'all child support.
I mean, did anybody besides Lil Boozy say anything? I mean, did anybody besides Lil Boozy really say anything?
There was a lot of people that said stuff, and Big Smiley, a lot of people said something.
It's the same ones.
But it was more.
Go ahead.
It was more of that fake outrage.
Of course, they just want to talk.
Scroll past.
Oh, I was gonna say one more joke about climate change. I'm saying all those senators
It's
are
a heated subject.
all those senators are gonna start carrying when they go to when they try to go to Miami to get their prostitutes. They have to go to Lewiston. Don't nobody want to go to Lewiston.
No, because they keep dumping the what do you call it? The
Nailing this joke so far.
Shut up, fucker. No, what's the sugar plantation where they're backing up all the algae and shit? They fucked up the swamp. They put all that.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah, I'll say it. They're backing up into the swamp there.
All right. I mean, it's so close. Either way, it's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not any more disgusting than the rest of Central Florida, but. So originally we were talking about Ninja Turtles.
So by the time they hear us again, we'll be talking about Coming to America and giving our movie review.
Yeah.
I'm only wishing. I'm just hoping. When is that movie coming? I'm so ready for that movie.
I have no idea.
That is a good question.
I have a theory that Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy can't be canceled.
Like, as far as cancel culture, or like?
I think there are 3 people in the world that cannot be canceled no matter what they do.
August 7th,
That's-
2020.
That's Donald Trump. That's Dave Chappelle and Eddie Murphy. Those 3 will never be canceled.
I mean, I think it depends what they do. I mean, if they murdered somebody.
I mean, Donald Trump said he would literally murder somebody on Fifth Ave and they clap.
I mean, he says a lot of things.
Yeah.
He's uncancelable.
How's that wall coming?
My only reason why I'm doing this podcast is to get famous, rich, and then get canceled. I want to see what getting canceled is like.
I mean, D, I can cancel you right now.
Yeah, all you have to do is hit the little red button up there.
Bro, my apartment complex can cancel me right now. Yeah, everybody can cancel me right now. I think when I get rich and famous.
Nice. So, anybody else got anything they want to talk about? I think we should call it at that one. So we're at the 1 hour mark just about.
I want to hear what you're going to name this rant.
Huh?
I want to hear what you're going to name this episode.
I was thinking about calling it Turtle Talk. I know it's not necessarily my strongest, but
you can do better.
I mean, D, I think you already titled it.
Talking Turtle Heads.
Turtles and Friends.
Turtles and Friends.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Come on, guys. This isn't even hard.
That's what she said.
Ooh, Turtle and Friends. Can they be canceled?
Quit while you're ahead, D.
I don't know. I'm stopping.
All right, so that's going to do it for us here at This Won't Last podcast. Talked about some turtles, some friends, and got weirdly political towards the end there. Got P. Breeze joining us today.
I mean, science isn't politics.
And then D. Easy, the Donatello, is the best
Donatello
turtle.
isn't politics.
Donatello isn't politics. He has a good staff, though. He's a chief of staff. There you go, chief of staff. We'll edit that later. D-Easy, you joined us, and I'm Ryan V Online. So we're here to say bye.
Bye.